So yeah, hi everyone. Hope you can all see my screen. This is a virtual webinar series hosted by the team at TwelveLabs. It's called Multimodal Weekly. For some of you who are new, our company is a startup focused on building a multimodal foundation model for video understanding. And this is an initiative that we're going to be doing on a weekly basis over the past 2.5 years or so, gathering speakers in a variety of different domains, from AI researchers talking about some of the new research papers in the domain of multimodal AI and foundation models. We have partners, customers who come in and share very exciting and innovative multimodal application in different verticals. We have our community team members, talk about some various projects that they build in various events. And then occasionally we have internal team members share best practices around using our platform and APIs. Um, these are some of the recent session that we got over the past month or so. Interesting application of our technology for advertising, for video assistant, social media challenges, as well as some like spot highlight as well. And then we also have some talks on like from the research side, like building video reasoning framework for long form understanding as well as video generation. Um, so for today's session, we'll have two pretty exciting talk that we'll cover. First up, we have Radames Ramirez, currently founder and CEO of VALA, and he's been a very supportive users and customer of TwelveLabs. So for the first half of this webinar session, we'll talk about his application called VALA, which is a short form social video app that is now powered by Vision, a vibe search and recommendation layer built on top of TwelveLabs Marengo triple models via Bedrock. I got a chance to see an early demo of this application not too long ago. I'm super impressed. So I'm sure that he will demonstrate that during the course today as well. And then for the latter half of the session, we'll have one of our community member, a developer named Favour Nwachukwu. He will present his project called Lectry, which more on the domain of education. So he been building a small SDK on the program language Go on top of TwelveLabs API, and then he used that to, basically create a small application that can take lectures, videos as input and generate a lot of courses, which is very nice for student and educational institution. So yeah, that's the schedule that we have today. And just a quick logistical note for the attendees, feel free to send your question on the Zoom chat, and I will surface them async to both speakers after they finish. And then, we can also have like a live interactive Q&A, 5 to 10 minutes after the speaker finishes as well, as time allows. So I will stop sharing my screen and I will let Radames, you can go ahead and start presenting.
Sure. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on this beautiful Friday, joining me, Radames, James, TwelveLabs, and the VALA team. I am super excited to jump into what we've been building, why TwelveLabs has been such a huge monumental shift in how we operate as an organization, and how we just are thinking about the future of social. So I'm just going to jump right in. I'm going to share my screen. You're going to see on the left side, you're going to see the admin panel, and on the right side, you'll see VALA, the mobile application. So give me 1 second to get this rolling. Okay, everybody can see this.
Yep, we can see it.
Cool, great. So the left side is going to be the desktop admin panel. On the right side, again, it's my actual mobile device. So this is actually running live on my mobile device. So before I begin, I'll just give a quick overview of like who I am and my background and stuff like that. So my name is Radames. I've been a builder since I was 14 years old, and I've always been very much interested in tinkering with all the new things that are coming out. Technology has always been something that I just have a knack for, and always just staying on the cutting edge of stuff. So, naturally, in my progression of building VALA, we've been around actually for going on 2 years now. Slight pivots between, but essentially, just kind of looking for that sauce that was going to make it undeniable that we could compete with the likes of TikTok and Instagram and such. And then, I discovered TwelveLabs, actually, their model, Marengo, the 2.7 model, actually. So that's how we actually started, now running on 3.0. But just really excited. This is really, really cool technology that can be utilized for such a wide array of use cases. So let's just jump right in. I think the best way to kind of get started is for me to showcase the application and kind of talk through a little bit of the technical side of it so that you guys can get an understanding of um, what it is that we're solving with 12Labs. So for us right now, I'll open up the UI so we can kind of get looking at it, right? So I'm going to pause this so I can just chat for a second. So right now, traditional social media is broken, right? You have what I call free feed. And free feed is a feed that everybody knows, right? You go on a feed system, whether it be TikTok or Instagram or even LinkedIn, and you don't have any control over the feed that you're getting served, right? The reality is, while social media sites are going to recommend you items based on your interactions and low level things like hashtags and stuff like that, it doesn't take into account your emotional state. It doesn't take into account your intentions. It doesn't take into account all of these hyperhuman things that social media was supposed to originally solve, and they went the opposite way. So at VALA, our main goal is to create an intentional social experience, someplace where you go to intentionally consume content, and that content is tailored to you, understands you, and more importantly, you are not completely bombarded with items that you don't want to see. And we'll talk a little bit more about free feed versus vibe lock and all of that good stuff. But for now, I'm just gonna go and I'm just gonna use the application. You guys, all this is me in Thailand on top of this crazy building that has a see-through floor. So you guys know, like, it's the short form video. This is nothing new. We all know that this is essentially the best way to consume content, right? So what we do now is we take an interesting approach to how we are serving you these feeds. So our entire recommendation system is now based on um, Marengo, right? So what we do is we have a uh, natural language onboarding process. So when you onboard, it's pretty much like, what's your vibe? What do you like? What don't you like? We don't have arbitrary boxes for you to select cars or tech or this like other guys. We're really, really steadfast on the fact that we don't want to put any individual in a box. And this also gives us a wider array to understand like the user and what it is that they like, right? So I'll pause this for a second. So if a user types in on their onboarding process and they're like, I'm really into cooking, I like ASMR, cute puppies, and I rock climb, right? This gives us a huge array. And what we do is now we take that user and we have our first most accurate, essentially code start, right? So now we can take that first set of the user embed, and now we've embedded that information for the user. And what we do is essentially we take those and then we're going to essentially look at all of the other vectorized videos that we have, see what's similar, and then we serve that to the user their first session. Now, instantly, as the user starts to interact with the videos, this is nothing new, right? TikTok got huge off of the fact that they basically started the first, you know, fraction of milliseconds of basically detecting whether or not you're into content, right? So we do the same thing. And as soon as you start to understand more and more about what you like, what you comment, and other features that I'll show you in a second, because as you guys see, there are some things you haven't seen before on a social site, like the Spark button and stuff like that. So this is, I would say, one of the most accurate ways now. I think a social media application can be, starting off with a user where we're not just arbitrarily just throwing you all the stuff that is trending. That's not what our goal here is at Follow. The goal here is to create, again, intentional social where while we do have obviously things will trend, right? Globally, subculture, stuff like that. Ultimately, our goal is to feed you information and videos that are the most relevant to how you are feeling, what it is that you're looking for, uh, what it is that you're really actually interested in, rather than here is the top trending things. This is what we believe you want to see, right? And all of this is possible because of TwelveLabs. And we have a nice blend, and I'll get into that in a bit. We have a nice blend of utilizing Marengo and then also our proprietary like taxonomy and blend of embeds because as we know, multimodal is the biggest thing that Marengo gives us. So we have audio, visual, right? We have transcript. We have all of these data points that we can essentially decide the mix of what's most important for that particular type of content. And we keep that actually dynamic as well. So I'm going to go more into the app really quick. And I'll just start scrolling. And you see we have sub 100 millisecond playback time on videos. So that's even faster than TikTok. We have so much stuff going on here. This is actually pretty interesting. We see the TikTok logo here on the left. I was going to show that later. We can detect TikTok logos, Instagram logos for our social site. And actually, obviously, it makes sense for us to do this. We do not want cross-post content. We want evergreen content. So we do kind of penalize cross-posted content if we see like a TikTok logo. And this is just, again, to make sure that users are posting proper content. This is actually funny. This is some AI cat. I haven't seen this one yet. So we have a few extra things on our UI that don't exist on current traditional social media. So one of the biggest things that we have right now is this called, so I can like this video for sure, but we also have sparking. So if I hold on to this button here, this is an intentional action. And as I'm holding, my phone is like vibrating and it's this whole experience. So yeah, I'll do that in another video. We had a little hiccup there. So these guys are drinking beer out of a shoe, craziness. So we seem to have a little bit of problem with the sparks issue. So basically, when I'm sparking, I'm earning, same thing similar to like Karma. I know you guys are really like, know what Reddit is and stuff like that. So you earn points and stuff like that for utilizing VALA and stuff like that. So you can think about sparking this action as like a super like. And what it does is it's going to take some of your points, it's going to give it to that creator, and then it's also going to boost the video and the algorithm, but it's also going to tune. So as soon as you're doing that action, we're instantly going to embed that information and make sure that your user embedding is updated so that we can provide you with more videos that are similar to that or around where you want to see. So it's a really interesting way where, if you think about, let's say TikTok, right, you can only just like, right? Like there's no additional action that says, I like this, but it's not necessarily that I want to continue to see things like this. I just appreciate this in the moment, right? And I think users should have the capabilities of doing both, where they're allowed to like something in a moment, or they're allowed to essentially super like something, or spark it is the action we call. And now it's much more intentional. There's a transfer of point value. And now we can find out more about the user and stuff like that. So really, really excited about that. And the rest is just, again, we'll get into this bottom here, this bottom bar that is our dynamic island. So another thing about this app is we are fully set up for financial rails. So every single user who signs up on VALA, you actually do have a full-blown digital asset wallet running in the background. And we originally actually started off as sort of a digital asset discovery platform, but that was too niche, and we decided to grow further to widen the pie. So we still have these features. So in that island in the bottom, you'll be able to purchase digital assets, stocks, crypto, as well as physical items. And these things will also be tied heavily to Marengo, where we will be able to contextually understand how to serve maybe particular types of items or videos that are relevant to you. So this is going to be a really interesting thing as we start to expand that, but we'll get into that. I think the biggest thing for me right now is understanding. We get to the recommendation stuff. We'll see it on the dashboard, but let's go into the discovery page, and in the discovery page we can see a little bit more of how we've been able to get what we've been able to get with Vision, leveraging 12Labs and Marengo. So we have, let's say this right here, we have lit DJs, and all of these videos are just really cool DJs doing really cool stuff, right? And these are actually vibes that we are searching. So the category name is actually we actually do something really cool where if you go into the search bar and you search something, which we'll do that in a second, the category levels are essentially using the same technology. So it allows us to do really cool stuff. Sort of some of you guys have seen kind of like Ridiculousness, Rob Dyrdek show or stuff like that, where you can have like really zany, category names, and Vision will be able to find them and essentially serve those up to you. So we have lit DJs, we have Happy Tummy, where it's all food stuff. We have Nature is So Fire, and this is super cool. Again, this is all leveraging Marengo. It knows that aesthetically, these are nature videos, right? That we're trying to serve up as a feeling. And that's what's also super important, right? Like making sure that this social application isn't so rigid, right? You shouldn't have to type in, show me cool nature places. That's very rigid. You don't want that. You might also be missing additional videos that otherwise would not be served to you, right? So when you're able to just type in nature is so fire or aesthetic cinematic landscapes or things like that, you should be able to get things that are exactly that or similar. Because as you look, we have actually a video that is certainly nature. And this is really great. This is Thailand. And we also have a video here that is not necessarily nature. However, it contains nature elements and it is pretty fire. This is a artist friend of ours who created this, and you see some jellyfish. And this is what I would want to expect, right, from me using a future social application leveraging AI multimodal tech, where again, it shouldn't disqualify this because it's not actually real nature. So we see all the benefits there, which is really, 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 really exciting. And if we go down, we can see a few more of our this is another example here. I was specifically looking to show this example. So one thing also that Marengo is really, really good at is contextual sports analytics. So we have a section called From the Three, and it's essentially three pointers. And it just knows that it just knows if I type from it just knows that we're talking about three pointers, and again then goes finds all the videos that have three pointers. So this is also going to be great for individuals who really love sports and they're looking for particular time frames during like big sports events. So we see a future where VALA will be the go-to place to consume short form sports snippets that are contextually relevant to any sports events that are happening at the time, before the day, or after the day. So you'll be able to essentially search up a sports event, find out when and what timestamp, anything, a basket was made, a three-pointer was made, somebody broke an ankle, whatever. So now we're starting to blend this really, really, really dynamic way of searching videos, uh, segments, objects, actions, and making it surfaceable. So really excited about that. That's a huge, huge win on us. And now this is another one. This is really now we're going into the other side. So we were talking about the visual analytical side of vision and how it leverages Marengo to find sports. But now, what about audio? Remember, we're talking about a multimodal system, right? So this is amazing because we have the fact that it just knows. Can't hear the audio right now, but this is a cover of Maria Maria, a Puerto Rican artist. He's like one of the famous guitarists. And this is amazing. It's like, so we have, at the end of the day, again, it's all about how do I want to feel? The section says, got soul. Maybe today I want to feel like some soul in my system. And the system, VALA would just understand that. It just knows exactly what it is I may be looking for. And we have a proprietary blend of how we actually blend the video and the audio and how we dynamically actually switch in between that. So that's also something that you can do with this model is it's not set in stone. You can actually pick and choose how certain content has weights for their audio and their visual or their transcripts. So that's something that is really interesting and happy to dig into that more. These are a little bit more kind of best practices, advanced methods that me and the team have discovered to get much more rich recommendations and searches. So another one, this is another vibe here, pick me up. Again, like I said before, it's really important for us to be a more positive social experience. So this right here contextually knows that you're looking to feel more happy about whatever it is, right? So this is actually a really sweet video. This man is just kind of going around and spinning women and just giving them a little moment of happiness and going about his day. Very innocent, very cool, very makes you smile when you see it, right? So we love this. This is the type of stuff that VALA is really much interested in doing as we start to expand and we have more content and more users, is making sure that they can enjoy kind of bits of content like this that otherwise they normally wouldn't really come across, right? So again, and then there's some more things here. This next video is just like this cute pit bull in a video and stuff like that. We'll do that. Another sports. So this is similar to the other one, except for this one's about crossovers. So crossovers are when the ball goes back and forth and the other individual breaks their ankles. Is what the terminology that Gen Z uses. So we have that as well. I won't open it because we already saw a sports one. This one's really great. This is Six Stunts. So we are able to do, again, entertainment as well. So this is a friend of mine. His name's Cole Freeman. He is a stuntman. So he does a lot of cool stuff, jumping things, doing things, kind of all kind of crazy items. And we have that here. And there's a search term that I'm going to search in a second that's actually really, really interesting as far as how Vision was able to leverage Marengo to find a certain period of time in a video that contextually only can be normally you would think a human is able to basically understand the video, and it shows how when when you have essentially a model who sees and understands a video such as a human, you get a lot more information. So we'll talk more about this. We got Winter Wonderland. It obviously understands just different types of biomes and weather and all that stuff. You have Wild and Chaotic. This is fun, just a bunch of just random stuff happening. We have finance, and finance will just exactly that. Look for charts, look for anything talking about, any kind of financial jargon, anything like that. Really, really interesting for that part, right? So that's like a high level of how our Discover page is. This is the first level of our Discover page. We are in the process of making it more dynamic, which I'm really excited about. But, imagine where we're going to head now, where essentially our Discover page is going to be a mix of, let's say, social media meets Netflix meets Spotify. And it's going to be almost uncanny with the recommendations. And this is all again powered by, vector embeddings and essentially leveraging this full understanding of what we can do. And then we can have, because we've set the layer already uh, with vision and really leveraging, 12 Labs, it's we are well positioned to essentially launch features in an afternoon because we have all of this information, where it would seem like a brand new feature for a user, but we're just leveraging more data points that we already had and just surfacing them. So this is really, really exciting because we have some really groundbreaking new like features we're going to be releasing. We're kind of pushing the limits a little further, and we'll get into that another time. But I think right now we can do some searches that I find personally really interesting to see how the model reacts in addition to our proprietary text. So we'll go into that. I have a few here that I wrote down that I think would be really cool. So we will start with golden hour. And as you see, there's again, I told you guys this is also there's a huge financial side. So when you're searching videos, we also look for stocks and tokens and other stuff. That's
Yeah.
contextually not relevant. But we'll go into here and then look at that. Tons of videos that are completely related to golden hour. They're either related to golden hour directly, because we have a mix, right? So they're either directly related to golden hour, or later, like if you were down, you have videos that are maybe someone can say, I love golden hours. Those will
Mm.
still
Thanks,
come
Jason.
up.
Yeah, I assume the same thing you did, Jason. So that was based
Okay, he's
Yeah.
not muted.
It's okay.
Actually, I'd rather miss Wally raised his hand, so I assume he has a
Oh,
question.
I didn't see that. Go ahead.
No, sorry about that. That was a mistake.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
no
All
worries.
right.
Feel
No
free
problem. No
to,
problem.
for the audience, if you have any question for Radames, feel free to like just. Oh, actually, Kai, I saw your hand. Do we have a question, right, Asu?
Yeah, sorry. And and sorry, Radames.
No
I didn't
worries.
want to interrupt, but I just had a technical question here. When you're I'm guessing this is an API implementation. When you're doing this search, are you just passing one-to-one that string essentially through the search query parameter and or the query text parameter um for the model, or are you passing anything else um in addition to
Yeah.
get more context?
Yeah. That's a great question, and you'll see in a sec too when I can talk a little bit more about the taxonomy side. But yeah, so basically what we're doing on the technical side is we have a fuzzy search implementation with some debouncing, and essentially as you search whatever the term is, once we determine that you're probably most likely done searching, we then take that information and we are going to go and embed it. So as soon as we do that, we go and then text embed it. And as soon as we text embed it, we're also looking for additional potential classifications that we have. You'll see that soon. But then we also just basically hit Marengo and we say, hey, what's related to this? Let me know. We're using like cosine similarity with a little bit of our own little dash and stuff. So it's actually a lot more simplistic than you think when you think about how quickly you can essentially take some sort of text, or so this can also be extended, by the way, for image. We just haven't done it yet. So imagine I uploaded a photo that was just a golden hour image and I didn't say golden hour. It would work basically essentially the same way. We take it, embed it really quickly, and then we look for similarities. But for the text itself, we do have a little extra step where we add a little bit more context, because while Marengo is good at contextually understanding what is similar, we haven't leveraged Pegasus yet for a deeper emotional understanding, which I think is really important. So we built kind of a little bit of a custom text on it, but we'll get into that. But yeah, you generally have it right on the head.
Sorry, and one more follow-up, and I promise you can keep going. Sorry.
That's okay.
Do you already have tags or like metadata essentially for your corpus of videos, or are you essentially just relying on Marengo to do that for you? So you've essentially like gotten rid of like a manual tagging process for existing videos.
I think this is a perfect time to just obviously hop over to the dashboard, because we've seen some cool search queries. We can get back into the app in a second, but let's actually answer that question by me showing you some stuff. So what we do is we've essentially built out proprietary like dimensions and taxonomy and classifications, right? So this is for us to have a better understanding of how we get closer to mood and intention. This is going to be really interesting, and other things, right? So short story, yeah, we don't have any manual tagging going on. It's all based on finding out what's similar, because manual tagging is from the past now. So check this out. So we have, when the video gets uploaded, as soon as it gets uploaded to VALA, it goes into our vision pipeline. And when it goes into our vision pipeline, we start to do all kind of cool stuff. So the first thing we do is we have our classifications, and these classifications are format, subject, audio, mood, energy, intention, production, and culture. And this is where we're just starting. We're going to expand these. We're going to figure out what works, what doesn't. Underneath, we have raw perception. Now, Marengo itself doesn't just give you a JSON dump of what it sees, right? Pegasus, you can leverage Pegasus to actually get more information on like what it is the video is showing you. But this, when we built this at the time, this is what our solution was. So this is actually pretty accurate for the most part. It's actually it gets pretty accurate. There's some off the shoot stuff, but so what you'll get is, for the raw perceptions, you'll notice we have the scores here. And while something may come up, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's in the video. It means that the model believes that there's some sort of je ne sais quoi in there that is similar, and it is going to label it, but it doesn't mean. So obviously the higher the score, the more likely it is that it has something in there. And we have all types of stuff in here from different subjects. For relationships, it just knows this. Here, I'll just play this video. So this one has subject, relationships, production styles, lo-fi, documentary format, maybe not. Mood is romantic. I can tell that already just by the thumbnail. Energy is balanced. The culture is Western, may or may not be correct. This one is a little bit interesting. This is something that culture and intention is something we've been experimenting with. It's not something that is natively supported from any of the TwelveLabs models, but they do have a capability if you cook it just right. So we're experimenting with that. So you see entities here, couple, it got that really, really great. It says rain ASMR, so there might be some rain in this video. We'll find out. And then we have internet culture. This is making sure we stay relevant, especially as we grow as a newer application, making sure we want to capture Gen Z. And there's a lot of different things, right? Distracted boyfriend is interesting. That's a meme. We all seen that meme before, where he's like looking back at the other girl. I don't know why that comes up there, but this is what's interesting about building these. You never know. Let's see what the video is about. Yeah, pretty on point. So you guys see right there, that's a huge example of the multimodal working. So on the audio side, it picked up the rain ASMR very easily, ambient, and then more rain. That's great. Picked up storm, great. It also picked up that the sound still sounded lo-fi, regardless of the fact that it was rain, which is also interesting. And we got entities, couples, holding hands, maybe not, but this also just basically means we may not have the labels, like riding a bike together or something like that. So really, really, really interesting here. And this is our raw pipeline. So over here on the right side, when I'm searching items, this is basically the same exact thing as here. This is just the admin dashboard, right? So I'll go into something that's also really interesting. This one is interesting because when we were trying to come up with some demo stuff for this, I was wondering why this was coming up. So I typed in tropical originally, right? And I wanted to see stuff like this, right? I wanted to see things that were tropical and things that made sense in my head. However, the first video that popped up was this. This is not tropical, except for it is. The bottle, for a moment, for a fraction of a second in the frames, says tropical. And this when I realized, oh, we have to tweak vision a little further because it's, you know, we if somebody, the intention of searching tropical, most likely you're looking for actual tropical trees and stuff, not necessarily a juice or an item that says tropical. So this was an interesting thing for us to improve the search on the right hand side, where we're going to extend further, where when you search something, it'll say something sort of like contains the word tropical, feels like tropical, you know, these kind of things as we break down the search results. So this was really interesting. Another really, really good example of how Marengo does have the full capabilities of just capturing everything you want to know about the videos. We'll go into the next phase here, and I think this is super interesting. I'll do music. So we've created something called Creator DNA, and what Creator DNA allows us to do, it allows us to take our users, and all of our users have a aura, and aura is essentially a quality score of the user. We basically use our embeddings to figure out, you know, the quality of whether or not you are like a positive user, you engage, you watch a lot of videos to the end, your comments are generally of higher sentiment, stuff like that. This is actually pretty interesting. So this user, I can pull up their feed in real time, and I can actually see what their feed would look like on their VALA app. And you see here, we got our classifications on the top. We have some examples of why it's getting served to the user. So we know that the main reason is because he follows this person. Also, this video just recently got sparked, which indicates it's a high quality video. It's a fresh drop. So we also have a new creator discoverability mechanism. We want to make sure new creators are surfaced, not just creators who just dominate with good content. And then we have matches his hip hop and his dance taste. So we know that he likes hip hop and dance. So this is why we're giving this to him. This also goes hand in hand with the next level of what I wanted to get into on the intentional side, vibe lock. So as we started to experiment with Marengo and understand, now we have mood, intentions, we have all of these extra things. This now allows us to create an experience that is intentional for the user. So remember I mentioned free feed and also vibe lock. So free feed is what you have now. What we invented now is called vibe lock. So imagine a Monday morning, you're getting ready for your week. You want to go on some social media, but we don't want to be bombarded with any nonsense, war, this, that. We want to just be intentional about our feed. So you'll go on VALA and then you will vibe lock the feed to, let's say, how-to tutorials, or maybe new AI models, or maybe an emotion, happy, right? And when you vibe lock it to that, the vision algorithm will only feed you videos for that session that are completely related to that vibe. And then again, that's also powered and leveraging Marengo. So this is where it's going to get really interesting, because I believe the future of social is intentional, and we're tracking that, right? So, you know, we're going to start tracking and seeing how many users are using VALA free feed versus how many users are actually vibe locking. And I suspect that we'll see a high number of users mostly enjoying the experience how they want to. And this was the first indicator of that feature, because when I built this is we call this a serendipity slider. So what it does is it takes the embeddings, and I can slide it to the left, and it's going to find like almost the most exact possible representation of the user, or I can slide it all to the right, and then it's going to show just stuff normally that it wouldn't show to the user. So this is really interesting because traditional social media likes to act like that slider doesn't exist. TikTok and Facebook love to be like, oh, we don't know. We're trying. The algorithm's just doing what it wants. Like, we're going to try to turn down politics or hate or this or this. They have it. This is the truth. We have it. It's all about whether or not they want to surface it or allow the users to manipulate that, right? So we'll go further down here, and this is pretty much the last end of more of the creator DNA. So the creator DNA breakdown, as you see here, again, we're using these classifications that we've picked out of Marengo. And this is the DNA of the content that the user consumes, not the user themselves. So we can see dance is high for this user, performance. They like music a lot. They prefer raw content over anything professional or polished. Most of the time they're on hype mood, stuff like that. We also have our recommendation alignment section here, and this basically ensures that using all of our weighted signals, how much are the recommendations relevant to what we know for sure the user enjoys, even if they don't know themselves subconsciously. It's the same thing that TikTok does, where we have, if you scroll on a video and you hover on that video even 20 more milliseconds than you hovered on the previous, that gives us an indicator that maybe not super interesting to you, but something stopped you. Maybe we'll serve you a video that's similar later down the line and see if you stay for longer. If you stay for longer, now we know, okay, there's something in here. What is in here, right? So really, really interesting. And this helps us keep it like a bird eye view on everything. And again, this is like the power of what happens when you start to build a foundation on technology that has full multimodal understanding, because you can leverage it in so many different directions that it's almost a little limitless. It's really more up to your imagination and how you can try to essentially push all this forward. And the last thing really is trends. We can see search terms, we can see what's trending, and again, this is all powered by embeddings and stuff like that. Really awesome. Really awesome.
Yeah, Radames, there's 2 questions on the
Sure.
chat. Yep.
Let me see. Let me open it up. I don't see the chat yet. I have another window. Sorry about that. Thanks for stopping me. Are you using Bedrock or the TwelveLabs platform? We're using Bedrock. A lot of our infra is heavily, dependent on AWS as we do our setup. And to be honest, I think that's the marriage is really good. Leveraging Media Convert and TwelveLabs Bedrock is match made in heaven. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with that, where you can leverage. So for example, like one of the things we did with Media Convert is when you upload a video to VALA, now we do Media Convert so we can turn it into an HLS playlist. But we also create a specific MP4 called Vision, where we've essentially modified the bit rate and all that specifically so that we can feed that into the Marengo model, because it doesn't need full high fidelity, right? That's just wasting money for us. There's no reason for us to do that. It understands if you lower down the quality. So yeah, we're using Bedrock. Really cool. And you can also get some credits from Amazon if you can prove that your app is cool. So another way to leverage that. Let's see. Great product. Obviously, a lot of work has been done. How hard was it to integrate with TwelveLabs APIs? Or what's your key learnings on doing this? To be honest, it was actually incredibly easy. The documentation that TwelveLabs has is very thorough. Surprisingly enough, everyone, if you are building, you should be leveraging agentic coding. So you should be using Codex, Claude Code, all of these. You should be, or you're going to be left behind. And with those, you can essentially leverage the fact that it can instantly crawl docs and then essentially make sure you can find the best setup. So it was honestly the first version of Vision. I built it in one night, actually. So yeah, that gives you a little bit of an indicator of how easy it was to get started. Those are the only 2, right? Cool.
Yeah, those are 2. And from our side, like we constantly, try to make the developer experience even better, right? We have our own MCP server released last year. We're gonna do more plugins for Cloud Code and all that stuff in order to lean into agentic coding. So as a developer, I think the barrier to use our API will continuously be decreased.
Yeah, I totally agree. I really honestly totally agree. Truthfully, when it comes to agentic coding and then me leveraging TwelveLabs and how I built this, I didn't, I have 15 years of dev experience behind me, but I didn't write a single line of this code. I basically architected the whole thing. And this was not even with TwelveLabs MCP being released yet. So I can only imagine what's going to happen once that's released. And then additionally, developers like myself, I'm very passionate about this, and I will be, contributing as I can to anything that could potentially make that MCP better so that you can have a better developer experience as well. How am I doing on time, James?
Maybe like one more question, and then
Okay.
we can, yeah.
Can you get access on iOS to test? Absolutely. So I wanted to, I'll take this last question and then I'll close out. So right now on the actual App Store, it's our V1 version of VALA. If you go and download it now, it won't be this experience. That was a previous version. This experience is about to be released early next week. So happy to get everyone here access and make sure that you guys get information on how to get on it. Now, if you want to kind of get a head start, and again, I'm saying like making sure that you understand what you download right now is going to be the old version. Next week could be the newer up when we launch this update. But you can just simply go to vala.fyi, and that'll take you to your app store that's for you. And then you can download the first version and then wait for the update that's coming next week. So really excited for you to try it out.
Okay. Thanks, Radames. Super powerful demo here, and we are doing some pretty exciting, engagement with short creator content, advertising, sports, etc. So would love to have you being part of those activities to demonstrate this example of, how to use TwelveLabs efficiently for a real production level use cases. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Super excited. Thank you so much for having me, and thanks everyone for checking out what we've been able to build.
Perfect. All right, we got roughly 10 minutes left on the webinar session, and Favour, are you still on the call? It should be a pretty quick demo of the application. Yep. Yeah.
All right. Hello everyone.
Feel free to share your
My
screen.
name is Favour Nwachukwu. Yeah.
Do you want to share your screen?
Okay. Yeah. Right. Sorry for the bad video. Yeah, I'll be sharing my screen. Okay. Seems I can't get access to that. Okay, it seems like I can't. Okay. I'm not sure if I can actually share the screen now. Can't see the icon on the screen.
Yeah. So if you're in Zoom, you should see a green button, and click share under it, and you should be able to share it.
Okay, let me check for that. Oh, that's actually strange. I can't actually can't share the screen. That is really odd. Sorry, give me a minute. Okay.
Are you on the Zoom? Are you like seeing the Zoom desktop app or
Yeah, I'm on Zoom, but then I have to use my phone since there is no power for my laptop.
Wait, you on your phone?
Yes, I'm on the meeting with my phone.
Yeah, it could be much better if you can do the presentation on the desktop, because I don't think you can share on the phone.
Oh, yeah, I don't have access to the desktop now because there's no power where I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I guess I'll just talk because I think the demo video is on YouTube, so I'll probably drop the link. But I'll just like have the talk, and I hope that's all right.
Yeah, I think it'll be better if like maybe you can reschedule so that you can actually have access to desktop and and share your application, because otherwise people are not gonna be able to ask question and understand it. Yep. All right. So I'm just gonna put the link of his application on the chat if people are interested in check out the application. Basically he built a professional course education application. Let me share my screen. Let's see. It's a pretty nice website where you can upload videos of lectures onto the platform and basically click a button, click the generate course button, and it will generate like a very concise format like this, and you can have AI power editing capabilities, and you can export it as PDF files format, and from an instructor point of view, right? You can use this directly for your courses. And the back end here, I believe, was using TwelveLabs, like for the video analysis. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the help. So let me introduce myself. Sorry for that. Yeah, my name is Favour Nwachukwu. I'm currently a student at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. And yeah, so I'm currently 16 years old. I started building, I think, 2 years back, and last year I had an idea. I was just thinking of what to build because I mean, like, I like to build. So I was thinking of idea of what to build, and then I came up with the idea for Lectry. But then the first issue came was, how are we going to analyze video? Because I knew AI had gotten to the point where we could analyze video, but then I actually didn't know how, because at that time I really didn't see any mainstream video understanding models out there. So I did my research. I first came across Gemini. I tried their models. It was good, but then it wasn't what I was looking for, because I already tried something local. I just sampled the images and then had AI caption the images, like bring out descriptions from the images and then store it somewhere. And although it worked to some extent, it was not the best. It was not as fast as I would have loved. So after some research, I actually came upon TwelveLabs and I tried their models, and it was actually mind blowing. So I said, okay, let me go with this, and I put a pin there for the meanwhile. Then I started learning Go, which was the language I used to build the backend of Lectry, and I spent around 2 weeks learning it. So when I was done, I was actually thinking, okay, what should I do now? Because I want to use this and build Lectry, but then I actually need something to test my skills. And then it came to me to actually build an SDK around the TwelveLabs API, because I saw they had JavaScript and Python, but then at the moment they didn't have Go. So I took it upon myself and I just started something. So it was not the best, but I got most of the functionalities to work, if not all. And I made a post about it on LinkedIn, and luckily James, they actually reached out to me for a meeting, and I showcased the SDK to him. So the SDK is just a wrapper on the API for video analysis, embedding, and search. We've not actually added functionality for the structured output yet. We just came out, and the Marengo 3.0 model. But I'm actually planning to make changes to that. So I'm actually maintaining the SDK. So after building this SDK, I actually went ahead and started building Lectry. So it took me about 6 months to build Lectry, not because of dev stuff or anything, but I just didn't I wasn't able to come to a final conclusion of where I should actually launch it. But then luckily I launched it sometime last year. So using the TwelveLabs Go SDK I had built, I was actually able to efficiently add video analysis to Lectry. And there was a certain way I implemented this. So right now Lectry you can actually upload up to, I think, 5 hours of video into Lectry and get an output, even though the limit as of now for analysis, I think, it's 2 hours. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 2 hours. So what I did was I actually split the video into 10 minutes chunks, right? So 10 minutes, because I wanted to get the most descriptions I could from using the context limits which is currently provided. So using 10 minutes chunks, I actually analyzed what was in the video and got descriptions from them. Then I passed it to Gemini to actually give me the full description. And you can also do this with PDFs and audio too. So currently, if you drop in a video or a PDF or audio, you can even drop the three of them at the same time. What Lectry does is grab all the information that would like have been taught to someone else, then it's arranges it into a course format. So basically, if you are not really the kind that teaches or you don't really know how to structure your courses, you don't need a perfectly polished video. You could just do what you are doing. You could just code. You don't even need to say, "Oh, let's do it." You don't have to talk like you're teaching someone.
Yeah.
You just do what you are doing. So everything flows because it's kind of normal.
Yeah.
And
So
once you've started that way, it's actually easy to create code like
Favour. I think we
So
kind of running. We're
I
kind of
don't
running out
know,
of time.
James. Would you like to test it out or play?
Yeah. Can you hear me? I think we're running out of time, so we want to make sure that
Okay.
like we want to close off the session. But essentially, I just showcased the Go SDK for folks to take a look, so people just share the screen. But like essentially, he knew an entire new wrapper in Go in the programming language Go on top of Python and Node.js to enable that application. And yeah, I think this is a common workflow for a lot of educational institution, quickly generate instruction, etc. All right. Thanks everyone for joining today. I think we want to close up top of the hour. Thanks again, Radames, for the very in-depth demo of the session, and we will have the recording of this session available at some point next week. Cheers, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.